I always tell my customers we don't lock people into contracts for that reason. We really focus on bringing them value and we want to earn their business. And when we do that, Hey everybody, it's Nick Ponte from nickponte.com and offlinesharks.com. So let's talk about service agreements, because it doesn't really matter where you are in your business. The question always comes up, should I have a service agreement? And I'm talking about something that your clients sign when you bring them on to deliver or fulfill a service. Now, full disclosure, I had a couple of situations happen today. I had two clients that I normally would be pretty afraid with regard to what could potentially happen if I didn't have a service agreement. And full transparency, I didn't always have service agreements. I operated for a very long time as a brand new business owner without locking people into contracts. And there's a difference between a contract and a service agreement. So I'm going to talk about that more in this video. I'm going to also talk about more about my experience with both of them and help you to make the decision for yourself whether or not you should be using either or maybe none. Maybe in your business right now, you don't need to use any of them. So let's get into that video. It's also just a side note. I want to show you what it looks like outside today, because you guys know we're in Maui, but I mean, look at that weather. Ugh. That's not your typical Maui day, right? Okay, so let's talk about the first line item, which will be operating without any type of agreement at all with any of your customers. So I did this in the very beginning, and I quickly found out that when I had issues, I had nowhere to come back to. I had no base starting point with some of my customers. So at the very minimum, what you're gonna wanna do is have some sort of letter of intent. So let's say you get a website project. Email, text message, and those types of electronic correspondence actually serve a decent record for having some sort of agreement with somebody. So like if I tell you, hey, I would like to buy a website from you, and we're text messaging, and you say, okay, great, how much is it? And we come to that agreement and we have that proof through text messaging. I'm not an attorney, but I have had my attorneys tell me that that can be sufficient documentation with regard to helping you stake a claim into what an original agreement was. Now, it may not be as powerful and hold as much weight as being like something that's notarized, but it's definitely something that can hold weight. So I always operate now under the assumption that things could go wrong with anybody. So contracts, agreements, whatever you're doing, you wanna have clear terms, even if you're just doing a letter of intent. So a letter of intent is something that you could easily map out on a piece of paper. It says, I, Nick Ponte, am looking to do a website for you, Mr. or Mrs. X, we'll just call you, and we're gonna do it for this much. I'm gonna do it by this date, and that's our agreement. And then we both sign and make copies. That's a letter of intent. And that is your most basic level of coming to an agreement with somebody that will get you pretty far. I mean, I was doing these basic letter of intents for a long time with a lot of my customers, and I only started to get more sophisticated with what I was doing as my business really grew and we started talking about larger amounts of money. So smaller amounts of money, $500, $200, $1,000 maybe. I think this is sufficient. And if you make your letter of intent clear, like if there are specific bullet points or milestones that you need to do along the way of the project that you guys agree to right now when you start the project, you'll want to put those in there. That way, if later on your customer says like, hey, I thought you were going to also make a logo for me, or also include 1 full month of some sort of marketing service for me, or whatever it is, you can say, actually, if you look over at our letter of intent, this was the agreement. So that is the very basic level type agreement that you should have even from the very beginning. And you may be on this video right now and say, oh gosh, I don't have that set up right now. Like maybe you have some customers with no letter of intent. It can be a bit of a dance to go retroactively create a letter of intent with somebody that you've already been working with. But more often than not, if you're authentic and you are straight up with your clients and you just tell them like, hey, I'm really looking to get things in order. I was hoping that we could create this letter of intent that just kind of outlines what we've originally agreed upon. That way we can stick to these terms. So you could go do that or not. You don't have to do it either. But if you wanted to, you could. So let's talk about the next thing. So which I think most people that are in the marketing world love to do, which is lock people into contracts. And I think that there is a time and a place to a contract. And when I'm talking about contract, I mean like a contract for a length of time with a minimum date, not to be confused with a service agreement. I'm talking like, let's say I am doing some search engine optimization or some social media marketing, and you are a potential customer of mine, and I say, yeah, we have a minimum. Like if you want to bring us on to do the work for you for your social media management, you have to hire us for a 1-year minimum. Please sign on the dotted line. If you don't pay us and you cancel before then, we could, take all your stuff, or you still have to pay us and we're not gonna do our work or whatever. That is a contract that I see a lot of bigger marketing agencies hold smaller businesses too. And what I see happening a lot of the time is they do that because, especially with things like SEO, because they're not really doing the work or able to deliver the value that they promise or they say that they're going to deliver to the small business owner. So they will get you locked into the contract and then do some things that make them look busy, like send you reports each month, or maybe occasionally check in on you, but you'll never really see your ranking go up or get the phone to start ringing or see new emails coming in. That's usually why people get locked into contracts. Now, I always tell my customers, we don't lock people into contracts for that reason. We really focus on bringing them value and we want to earn their business. And when we do that, they don't want to leave us. Sometimes we ask when they sign on that they commit to a 3-month minimum so that we're able to properly invest our tools, time, and resources and get them an outcome based off of what they're looking to get. And sometimes we need to have a minimum investment with like SEO or ads. But I also say you are also welcome to leave at any time. And we're not one of those companies because we want to prove our worth to you. But that is very different from a service agreement. Now, a service agreement is a document you can put together that really outlines your deliverables. So let's jump back over to like the website situation. Like, let's say you want to buy a website from me and I say, great, that's fine. I collect the payment and I say, you need to fill out this service agreement. Now, my service agreement, it actually shows everything by line item, what we will be on the hook to deliver for you and how long it's going to take and what you need to deliver to us to make this happen. There's also some agreements in there that list out what could happen if you stop paying us or you don't pay us, or we get to milestone number 3 and you don't pay us. So let's bring in my example. The mystery client number 1 signed on for a Google AdWords campaign. And this is a great example because, this is from something that has happened today, right? You know that this is real. And, the information that you need as you build and grow your business needs to be real world information. So sign somebody up, about a month ago for an AdWords campaign. And we are doing the campaign. We're actually live about 15 days. So the ads have been turned on for about 15 days. And we get an email this morning that says, hey, some things have happened in my business. We want to cancel effective immediately. Now we're only 15 days in and we are on a $1,000 per month retainer to run these ads. And because this customer was a past customer a while back at some time, we actually waived the setup fee, which is $250. We were saved because our service agreement said we need a 30-day cancellation notice if you wish to cancel. That way we can get our affairs in order and start winding down your campaign. In this customer's email, when they said we're shutting down, we want to cancel immediately, it also said please refund us. Now, I'm normally not one to fight and argue with people about just little things. I'm not nitpicky. My time is very valuable and I have a lot of opportunity every single day where I can divert my attention to. And, fire is usually a huge opportunity cost for me because it stops me from doing something else that could be much more profitable. And other people of my team too, right? Not just me, other people of my team. So normally when I would get this type of email, I usually do my best to kind of figure an easy way out. Well, this was an easy way out because I just pointed to the contract. I said, hey, we signed a contract about a month ago. We actually waived our setup fee for you because you were a past client. This is pretty sudden for us. We have a lot of legwork setting these campaigns up. We do ask that you give us a 30-day cancellation notice when you want to stop. It's here in the agreement that you signed a couple weeks ago. So that's it. They might not be very happy to hear that, but it's the fact of the matter. And so they could go back to the service agreement and see that since that was in place, they can't really say anything about that. And they probably should have read that service agreement before they canceled because they would have known that we could have at least finished out the month. And we probably still would finish out the month if they want to ask, but I'm not going to waste my time going back and forth with, this customer that is kind of giving me nothing, not giving me any rhyme or reason as to what is going on or what they're doing. So in any case, I hope they review the contract and they get back to us. They have other questions, but but I'd be happy to answer them. So that's where a service agreement is going to really help you. And more often than not, I like to use these service agreements more than contracts. I mean, it is somewhat of a contract, but it's not like a term contract. It's not locking them into a long period of time or a period of time. I mean, 30 days, I guess we need notice, but sometimes we don't even go back to that contract, right? Like there are times when somebody says, you know, we're running into issues with our business, we don't have the money, this, that. They let us know what's going on. And then sometimes we don't even point to the contract. We say, hey, we understand, totally get it, it's all good. But because we have a letter of intent, service agreement in place, it allows us to secure our business and have some stability with the projects that we have going on. And as you grow your business and you get more and more clients, you're gonna wanna put this standard operating procedure in place for you because it's gonna protect you. Again, I know that I have previously, mentioned at times that I'm not big on getting people to sign stuff. I let my work explain for itself. I think that this is a little different, especially as you get bigger. So let me know, you guys, if you got any value out of that. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Maybe if I get enough comments below, I might share my service agreement with some of you. I personally have grown my service agreement to what it is today. It started out very basic, but now I have a template that I use where I had to pay a lot of money to some attorneys to draw it up because I worked with them piece by piece to make sure it had every single thing that I wanted so that I could use it for my different services and it would fit. So I send my same service agreement to people that run ads, to build websites, and I just fill out some of the different pieces a little differently for the different projects. So you guys, let me know if you got value out of this. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you have any questions, and I might share my service agreement with you if I get enough comments. So that's it, you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.